Have you ever noticed that your ADHD feels way worse right before your period? The brain fog, the lower energy, the zero motivation, it's just so much harder to adult and get the things done that you need to do. Well, it's not all in your head. It's actually biology and it's your hormones. In this video, you're going to learn exactly how hormones shift throughout your menstrual cycle, the phase in your menstrual cycle that is the hardest for most women with ADHD, and what you can actually do about it. For those who don't know me, my name is Cindy Mackey. I'm an occupational therapist and I'm an ADHD coach. So I work with women every single day who are neurodivergent and who are trying to live their life with more energy, more ease, and to feel a lot more flowy and to not feel like they are constantly struggling against their ADHD symptoms. I was late diagnosed with ADHD. I was diagnosed when I was 27 and I'm 30 right now. So I know how it feels to feel frazzled all the time, not knowing what's going on with yourself, feeling great one day and feeling awful the next, and getting a handle on where I was in my cycle and how my hormones were affecting me made a huge difference. So first I want to talk to you about the effect of estrogen. So if you have ADHD, estrogen is your ally. Estrogen is connected to both dopamine and serotonin. So in case you didn't know, women with ADHD and everybody with ADHD, dopamine is not as available as it is to neurotypicals. Dopamine is involved in motivation, in the reward pathway, and throughout your menstrual cycle, estrogen increases and decreases. When it increases, we feel motivated, we feel energized, like we can do things. And when it decreases or when it drops, we feel awful. We feel like we can't get out of bed, can't get ourselves to do anything. We're just procrastinating constantly. And it's like that ADHD dip you might feel of task paralysis. Okay, so estrogen is also connected to serotonin. Serotonin, in case you don't know, is your happy chemical. It's a neurotransmitter that is released in your body that makes you feel happy. So, same thing with serotonin. When estrogen increases, serotonin increases. When estrogen drops, serotonin drops. Now, there's different phases in our menstrual cycle that cause these very predictable increases and decreases in estrogen. The other hormone that we need to think about is progesterone. Progesterone increases in a specific phase of our menstrual cycle. And what progesterone does is it has this calming effect on the body, but it also has a dulling effect on dopamine. So it actually dulls our ability to intake or to uptake dopamine. So as you can imagine, when that increases, it's not going to feel so hot. So the phase that is hardest for most women with ADHD is the luteal phase. So this is the week or two right before your period. When we're going to feel on top of the world is during ovulation. So the phases go a little bit like this. You have your menstrual cycle, which is technically the start of your menstrual cycle. So your menses, when you're having your period, that lasts for about 1 to 5 days. And then you enter the follicular phase. You reach ovulation, and then you enter the luteal phase at the end. When the luteal phase begins, estrogen starts to drop. And when estrogen is dropping, that is when our energy starts to decrease. That's when our serotonin is decreasing. That's when our dopamine is decreasing. And progesterone is increasing, which also has that dulling effect on dopamine. So it's the week or 2 weeks before your period where you're going to feel lethargic, brain foggy. It's going to be really hard to get anything done. And it's this phase that we really need to look out for because there are really specific things that we can do during this phase to make it a lot more comfortable, a lot easier, and even to increase our energy. So the luteal phase is kind of like, if you think about the seasons, the fall or autumn, right? This is a phase where we don't have very much energy and we need to work with that. We need more rest. We need to engage in more cozy rituals. We need to delegate more. And we also need to really amp up the amount of accommodations that we need for ourselves. If our brain is not working at full capacity and it already has a lot of difficulties with executive functioning, then we need to increase the reminders. We need to increase the use of sticky notes, increase, getting other people to help us out with stuff. We might need more sleep. We might need to also be a lot kinder to ourselves. I don't know about you, but when I have these energy dips, when I'm not being as productive as I know that I can be, my inner critic gets really loud. The inner critic is just that little voice in your head that tells you that you're not doing enough, that you're not good enough. And it's basically this shame-based voice that's really good at yapping. And one thing about this inner critic is it also takes up a lot of energy. So as our energy is already down, our motivation is already down, that inner critic brings it down even more. So it's during this phase that we need to be kinder to ourselves than we have ever been in our whole entire lives. And that is why just the awareness that this phase is happening can be so helpful and beneficial. Because if you know it's coming, you know it's not you, you know it's biology, it's your hormones, and there's only one way through it, and it's with self-compassion and modifying your routines. And if you want to get your hands on this free guide that I made, it's really helpful for this phase because it goes through 5 super simple exercises that take about 30 seconds each. And it's really good at helping you calm your body, to ground yourself, or to get started on things that you've been procrastinating. You can grab that guide through the link in my description. So ADHD is no joke in women. Men don't have this cyclical monthly thing happening to them where they have hormones going all over the place. Yes, hormones still do affect their experience of ADHD, but it's not as dramatic as it is for women. And if you're interested in learning more about how ADHD is different in women than men, you're going to want to check out this video next.